Hello everyone, Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and I'm on my way back from Colorado from doing some indoor skydiving training for my hobby of skydiving. And since I have a 9-hour drive, I thought I'd make some videos about some commonly asked auto repair information. And in this video, this is a little bit different than normal. I want to cover car electrical system basics. Some real common things about car electrical systems. Most people are afraid of car electrical systems. They don't know anything about it. So we're just going to go over just the basics and touch base on basic electrical. On your car's electrical system, that's like your nervous system. It's the root system of the car. If a wire breaks, it's called an open, and if two wires that aren't supposed to touch, that's called a short. A wire that is also touching somewhere other than where it's supposed to could also be called a short. So, most electrical system failures are either an open or a short. Now, there are electrical system failures that where the resistance is too high. That would be because of corrosion at the battery terminals, for example. Stuff like that where there's more resistance than there's supposed to be, and that can cause electrical problems. Electricity is very, very lazy. That's one thing that's universal. If there's an easier way, electricity will find it. If it doesn't have to go through the light bulb to make the light bulb illuminate, and it can go straight to ground over there because it's shorted out, it would much rather go straight over to ground than have to go through the light bulb and actually do some work. Now, when you're troubleshooting the problems with your electrical systems in your car, like a light bulb not working or something funny going on, always start with the basics. Check your fuses, check your connections, check all the basic stuff. Don't overlook anything simple. For example, if you've lost your horn, check the auxiliary power outlets and make sure there's not a penny or a dime stuck in there from the kids in the back seat, because the horn more often than not is on the auxiliary power supply or the auxiliary power ports. They're tied in together usually. So check and make sure. And if you put a fuse in that port because the fuse is blown and it instantly blows the second one, check them all. Make sure there's not a penny or something dropped down in them. Always do the basics. If at all possible, check your fuses. Now, your owner's manual will give you a breakdown of what fuses control what circuits. So if you have something not working, check the fuse circuit and see what else that fuse controls. If everything else is, like for example, let's do, I don't know, a radio. A lot of times on the radio system, there will be several other features that are controlled on the same circuit. And if the radio's not working, but everything else is, then it's in the radio. If the radio's not working and all the other stuff listed in the little panel description for the radio fuse isn't working also, then you have a blown fuse. Now, we need to find out why the fuse blew in the first place. So you want to check each system. And the way to do that is one at a time. You unplug either the radio or whatever else is in that circuit. You unplug one at a time, put a new fuse in it. When it stops blowing the fuse, you found the culprit. Real simple. It's not very difficult if you understand that electricity is just basically very lazy. There are several power distribution points in your vehicle. Read your owner's manual. There will be one inside, there will be one under the hood. Some of them have one in the trunk, some of them have several in the trunk. Some Lincolns, some cars just have multiple. The more accessories it has, the more power distribution areas that it'll have. It'll have one under the hood, one inside, one in the trunk, or several in the trunk. Just read your book. It will help. So start with looking for the component that's not working, and then trace down that fuse and look down the list of all the other stuff involved and check all that also. If you do this preliminary work, you will save yourself money right off the bat. Of course, if you bring it to me, I have to double check all that stuff anyways in the process of electrical diagnostics. But I have seen more people get charged $100 for a fuse replacement than I care to elaborate on. Now, I don't do that, and I won't do that. I tell everybody, check your fuses, check your basics, and see what's going on first. And if it's just a simple fuse, I'm going to put it in and ask you to bring it back when you have a real problem. But I've seen other places, I've quit places because I put in a fuse and they wanted me to charge an hour diagnostic time for changing a fuse. I'm sorry, that's not, can't do that. A couple dollars, maybe, but an hour's labor, no. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. On your electrical systems, on the car's wiring system, I'm not talking about charging and starting and all that. I'm talking just about the whole wiring system. If something's not working and all the fuses check out okay, then it's time to go a little deeper. That's where you start unplugging the component and making sure it actually has power going to it. If it has power going to it and it's still not working, it's the component itself. If you check the fuse is okay and there's power at the fuse but there's no power at the plug of whatever the component is, then you know you've got an open wire. A very, very common example of this is if your power window on your driver's door quits working, but all the other windows are working. You think, well, it's the driver's door, it must need a window motor. Not necessarily. At the opening where the door opens and closes all the time, all those wires for all the switches run through that junction point. And from the constant opening and closing of the driver's door, those wires will break inside the door right there. Now, power is still going to all the other doors. Power is just not going to the driver's door through that wire because either the wire for the power side is broken or the wire for the ground side is broken. A tip, if one of those wires down in the junction is broken, open the door, grab it, hold down on the switch and wiggle those wires, just wiggle the whole boot around, or you can split the boot open or pull the boot back and wiggle the wires because they'll be broken internally, and inside the wire insulation you won't be able to see that the wire is actually broken. But if you wiggle the wires and the window starts to work or it tries to work, it goes when you move it, that tells you you've got a broken wire right there. And then it's just a matter of figuring out which wire it is that is actually broken internally. And here's the second part of that. If one wire is broke, the others aren't far away. And unfortunately on that, those are a pain. A splice will usually suffice and just take care of them as they break one at a time. Don't splice them all because you don't know which ones are broken, which ones aren't. Just as they quit working, suspect right down there. If you have one broken wire, there's more that's going to happen over a period of time. Just splice them, fix them as they break. Real simple. Well, not real simple, but that's the easiest way to go about the driver's door opening and closing. Now, sometimes on that opening and closing thing, you'll move the door position and it'll work, and then you close the door and then it won't. Well, that can be frustrating. But check at the joint. If you have power windows, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When you open your door, you'll see the little black boot going across where the door opens. That's where all the wires are located, and that's where they like to break. So always keep it simple because the fuses will check okay. But when you get to the window switch, you won't have any power. So you'd be like, I wonder. And then if you wheel those wires, oh, we got power. Oh, we don't have power. Oh, we got power. No, we don't have power. And as you wiggle them, it's opening and closing the wires. And if you get aggressive with it, eventually it'll just stay open all the time. But that's very, very common on cars that are around the 100,000 mile mark or so. Just wires wear out from the constant open and close, kind of like bending a coat hanger, etc., etc. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. If something's not working, look at the owner's manual. Now, if by chance you don't have the owner's manual, you can go to the library and look it up at the library. You'll need a library card, but that's okay. You can look it up, find it for free. You don't have to go spend the money on an auto repair book for your thing if it's free at the library, if there's a library that's close and convenient. If all else fails on the simple stuff, then bring it to me, and I will dig deeper from there. It's best if you just keep it real simple and just go one step at a time. This is Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 816-453-8282, and I'll try to answer the questions as best we can. Or you can find us online at aboveandbeyondautorepair.com. Thank you very much and have a good day, and I hope this little insight about basic electrical wiring of your car helps. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.